Hello, I'm Anaya, and welcome to MHG TV. In this Ascending Agents episode, meet the husband and wife team behind Laughton Team. Find out the secret to their success, how they went from young bartenders to Arizona's #1 real estate team. If you don't know the Laughtons, you've likely heard of them. George and Jennifer Laughton are the husband and wife team behind the highly successful Laughton Team, the #1 real estate team in Arizona. That's according to Phoenix Business Journal rankings of 2018. George says the Laughton Team will close out 2019 with $1 billion in production. Theirs is a story of success that actually started in a bar.
We actually were both bartenders.
She came into my bar when she got off of work, and she was clearly very attracted to me and tipped me really well. No, yeah, we were both bartenders. So.
And I tipped him well.
Yeah,
so he was
I was like, I assumed that, yeah.
yeah.
Like, I gotta know that girl.
They worked in close but competing bars.
When it was slow, I would get off and go see her. When they closed earlier than we did, and she would come and see me.
Back then, the market was jumping and real estate was hot.
It was that time within the market too, so it was 05, 06. We're like, oh yeah, everybody's doing it. Let's jump on in, get our license. I was focused more on like the investment real estate side, and then she went with the sphere kind of growing our database side.
I really was focused on working and networking within the sphere that we already had, and expanding that and doing little things like I remember going to a tanning bed. The tanning salon, and being there, handing out my business cards and doing little raffles and collecting their information as they came in, and then going back to the bars that we worked at and collecting everybody's information and buying them a drink if they gave me their email address and their telephone number and stuff to go back and put them into our database.
For the first couple of years in business, they focused primarily on REO or foreclosures, which really put them on the map.
It was really awesome to see how many people were willing to sit down with us at the time and kind of give us an idea and growing the team and what that looked like, because we weren't in traditional real estate for 3 or 4 years.
That collaboration became important to them as they grew their business to do for others coming up the ranks of real estate.
You know, he was always willing to sit down and talk to new agents, new team leaders, you know, and share what was working, what wasn't working. It's never been like, oh, well, let's tell me what makes us successful. We've always shared with the entire team or other teams.
The Laughton Team has a firm foothold in Phoenix and Tucson, with a presence in Orange County, California, and big plans for continued expansion and production. One of the keys to their success has been a well-oiled operational side to their business, which is what George says some people fail to consider when building their real estate business.
But you have to think operationally in order to build a scalable and a business that is attractive even for acquisition. Not that we would ever sell. I'm just like, you have to have standard operating procedures. You have to have a playbook for everything you do. It has to be trackable and measurable. And you have to have, like, we have spreadsheets for spreadsheets and dashboards for dashboards, right? And we relentlessly track everything, and whether it's important or not. And then at some point, when I do think it's important, or when I figure out it is important, at least we've tracked it. And that's one thing we don't skimp on is operational people, and then people that understand how to create plugins and make different technologies talk, and building the things out that we need in order to understand how our business is performing.
Jennifer says a smooth operation leads to their agent success and their agent retention.
From our training that we do for newer agents to allowing them the opportunity to go out there and actually be more focused on their clients instead of the paperwork. We have somebody that can put in this data for them and fill out these forms and do the back end of their business while they're out there actually, making the money, so to speak, and working with their clients.
They also have someone auditing those operating procedures, which George says is critical to making sure they're working as effectively and efficiently as possible.
We've really seen growth in our scale once we started doing that, adding director of operations and people under him as well. And it's just really helped the business.
George says the pillar of the Laughton team is their partnership with Zillow and Zillow Offers.
So we essentially represent Zillow as the buyer. So if you are looking to sell your home and you go to Zillow and it says, give me a Zillow offer, you click the button. We're the ones that are preparing the CMA, so comparative market analysis on a property, and telling Zillow, this is what we think the house is worth. We're one data point in that that decides what type of offer we're going to give you. Once you've said, yes, I like the offer, I'd like to discuss more, we set up an evaluation of the home, which is essentially an inspection. After the inspection, we get back on the phone with you and say, present the final offer. So the Laughton team is actually a Laughton team member, licensed agent that is presenting the offer to you on the phone. You say, yes, it's something I'd like to move forward with, or no. And from there, if you do say yes, then we move forward in doing the transaction.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Still, George says it's always been about the leads and the potential from that.
For us and our team, it was about, how do we get into a good position to be able to offer options to the consumer.
I see it as we're going above and beyond for our clients because everybody's motivation is different. So just coming to them with another option, another, this might work for you or this might work for you, but I have it all here. What can what works best for you and how can I help you? That's what it's about.
The culture of collaboration the Laughtons have created with the Laughton team is something they've also become known for and proud of.
With the group that we have now, they challenge me to think 10 times what I think, right? Like, oh, I want to buy 10 properties. Well, George, why not 100? Why not 1,000, right? And then giving you the ability to walk through it together and motivate each other and hold you accountable to it. If you don't have this collaborative, abundant mindset, and there's these people that are operating out of scarcity, and Mark and Jeremy have never operated out of scarcity, you're not able to grow or work effectively together.
Even with all the accolades, the Laughtons say relationships with their clients will always matter most.
I'm really good about staying engaged, whether it's texting our clients, going to their events, going to their kids' events, helping, one way or another sponsor maybe one of their kids' events, staying in touch with them, and not just in a real estate way either.
And in any business, if the consumer's not the North Star of what you're focusing on, and either eliminating pain points for them, making it a better experience, whatever the case may be, like that should be your focus, right? If it's not to the delight of your clients or adding to the success of our agents, we don't do it, right? Like that's ultimately those two things, that's the answer yes to both of those questions, or we don't move forward with making those changes.
When it comes to community engagement, George says they go all in, whether it's with their CrossFit community or their church community. They firmly believe in being involved and giving back.
My family growing up was very involved with the church and the community, and that's just what we did. As a really young girl, I was constantly helping out at bingos or fish fries or, collecting things for other families. And it was instilled in me. And that's what, we've continued to do and continued to instill in our children too.
You work together and then you go home and you work as a family together. Is that difficult? Is that awesome? Does it have its peaks and valleys? How do you manage it?
So honestly, we don't work together a whole bunch.
Yeah.
His office is actually in another part of the building than mine. He's working on completely different things than what I'm doing. because we both have our strengths and weaknesses, and we allow each other to, work on those. I like the fact, though, that we're both in it together because we both have an understanding of the needs of the business. As far as sometimes you got to take that phone call, or you have to instantly get on and reply to somebody. And I think working together has given us a greater understanding of each other and what we need to accomplish sometimes, and respecting each other's time. And so I think it's actually beneficial that we're in it together.
I always go back to what worst case scenario, what could happen here? If we fail, what happens? And I always say, Jen's my ride or die. So if we lost the house, lost the business, had to live in an apartment, she'd come with me. So that's the cool thing. That's the cool thing, right? So when you look at it, it makes it a little easier to take those risks and to do that. And there really hasn't been anything that I felt like was a failure along the way.
Remember, you can subscribe to MHG TV at mhgtv.com, and you can catch all of our episodes on the My Home Group YouTube channel. Thanks for watching this episode of MHG TV. I'm Catherine Anaya. I'll see you next time.